Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into a new model that's designed to completely revolutionize farming in India. It's called the SMART FPO. And honestly, it proposes a pretty radical new way to build wealth and opportunity in rural communities. So, let's get right into it. But first, let's kick things off with a pretty big problem. You see, the idea of farmers banding together in what are called farmer-producer organizations, or FPOs, is a powerful one. But here's the thing. Despite all the good intentions, the reality is that so many of these groups really struggle to become sustainable, profitable businesses. And often, they just fail to deliver any real economic benefits to their members.
So in this explainer, we're going to walk through why that traditional model so often falls short. Then we'll introduce the solution that our source material proposes, the SMART FPO. We'll break down its economic engine, see how it impacts people's actual lives, look at the 5-year plan to build it, and finally, ask what all this could mean for the future of farming.
To really get why this new idea is such a big deal, we first need to look at the numbers. We've got to understand the core challenges that these traditional FPOs are really up against.
Okay, just look at this slide for a second. The difference here is pretty dramatic, right? Your typical FPO can take more than 3 years just to break even, and it's often carrying a ton of unstable debt. The profit? Negligible. But the SMART FPO model, it projects breaking even in less than a year, has a super healthy debt-to-equity ratio, and look at that profit, nearly 90 crore rupees in 5 years. And it creates 560 stable jobs, not just a handful. It's night and day.
So what is this thing? What exactly is this game-changing alternative that can pull off such wildly different results? Let's get into what it's all about.
The source material defines the SMART FPO as way more than just a simple farmers group. You have to think of it as a professionally managed, tech-savvy corporate company. The key idea is to run the organization with the discipline and the ambition of a modern corporation, but, and this is crucial, it's still democratically owned by its members in the village.
And that name, SMART? It's not just a catchy label. It's actually an acronym that spells out its core business principles. Every single goal in every operation is designed to be specific, measurable, achievable, replicable, and time-bound. This whole framework is about one thing: execution and getting real, tangible results.
Okay, now for the really cool part. How does this model build such a powerful economic engine? Well, it all rests on 3 unique and pretty innovative pillars.
This first pillar is a truly radical idea. It's called the zero cost of cultivation model. So, instead of farmers having to take out loans for seeds, fertilizer, and labor, the FPO, acting as this corporate body, covers 100% of those production costs right up front. Think about that. This completely removes the financial risk and the crushing burden of debt from the individual farmer.
So, what does that actually mean for a farmer on the ground? Well, it's simple, but it's profound. By taking away the farmer's personal investment, the gross income they get from selling their crop becomes their net income. Every single rupee they earn is pure profit that goes straight into their pocket, which helps break those awful debt cycles that trap so many families.
The second pillar is all about creating a circular economy. So, instead of treating agricultural waste like a problem, the SMART FPO turns it into a profit center. A pyrolysis unit, which is just a fancy way of saying it uses high heat to break down organic stuff, it turns crop residue into valuable products like biochar and bio-oil. Then, a compressed biogas plant turns other waste, like cow dung, into green fuel. This creates energy independence and whole new ways for the FPO to make money.
And pillar number 3 ties it all together: the smart use of technology. Digital traceability, using things like QR codes, lets consumers see the entire journey of their food from farm to fork. By controlling that whole supply chain and cutting out the middlemen, the FPO can sell high-quality food for 10 to 15% less than the market rate and still make high-profit margins. It's a win for the farmer and a win for the consumer.
But look, this model isn't just about corporate profits and fancy balance sheets. It's fundamentally designed to create real, stable, and empowering jobs in rural areas. This is where we see the human impact.
Check out this number: 560. The model projects creating 560 stable, salaried livelihoods by its 5th year. And we're not talking about temporary, seasonal work here. These are professional, long-term jobs right in the village. Everything from farm managers and digital coordinators to the technicians running all the high-tech gear.
A central goal, maybe the central goal of this whole thing, is what the source calls the Lakpati Didi vision. Now, a lakh is 100,000 rupees, and Didi is an affectionate term for an elder sister. The goal is a framework specifically built to empower women members to earn a household income of over 1 lakh rupees a year, an amount that is absolutely life-changing in so many rural areas.
So how do they get there? It's a really powerful combination. First, through stable, salaried jobs like being a farm manager, which can pay over 15,000 rupees a month. Second, through profit sharing and bonuses that are tied to how well the FPO is doing. And third, and this is maybe the most important part, that zero cost of cultivation model makes sure that the income they earn from their land is totally risk-free profit.
Now, this level of success doesn't just happen by accident, right? The whole strategy is meticulously planned out in a 5-year, 4-phase roadmap. It's designed to build what the source even calls a rural empire.
You can really see the logic here. Year 1 is all about laying the foundation, setting up digital services, getting core products like vegetables and dairy going. Year 2 is about scaling up and diversifying into new areas like agritourism and that waste-to-wealth idea. Year 3 is when they build the heavy infrastructure, like the big biogas plant. And finally, in years 4 and 5, it's all about building their own brand, launching their own retail platforms to capture all of that market value themselves.
And the financial roadmap, well, it tells the same story of strategic growth. You can see how the gross annual profit is projected to just explode, going from about 80 lakhs in year 1 to over 3,700 lakhs in year 5. The number of jobs scales up fast and then stabilizes. But check out that last row, the institutional loan. After year 3, it drops to 0. That means the FPO becomes completely self-sustaining, funding all its future growth from its own profits. Amazing. So, when you put all these pieces together, the business model, the human impact, the strategic plan, what does it all add up to? Well, according to the source, it represents a fundamental shift in how we even think about agriculture and the rural economy.
See, this model isn't just about helping farmers get a slightly better price for their crops. It's about building a self-sufficient, diversified, vertically integrated corporation right in a rural setting. It's a company that controls everything from production and processing all the way to waste management and selling directly to consumers.
And you know, this might be the most powerful takeaway from the whole thing. The entire model is built on sustainable, natural farming principles. The source argues that this proves that farming in harmony with nature isn't just some nice ethical or environmental choice. It can actually be a deeply robust and highly profitable economic strategy. So the final question this leaves us with is a really big one. We've seen the blueprint, we've seen the numbers, and we've seen the vision. Could this professionally managed, digitally driven, and socially focused model be the key that finally transforms rural economies from a state of just getting by to one of genuine, widespread prosperity? That is the billion-dollar question.